Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. We see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal. And that's why we talk about equity, because we recognize not everybody starts out on the same base.
So there you have it. Kamala Harris's ideology explained. Everyone should wind up in the same place. So you mean socialism?
Basically. So here with reaction on that is the host of Stacy on the Right, SiriusXM Patriot, Stacy Washington, along with Fox News political analyst Gianno Caldwell. Good to see you both. So Stacy, that first soundbite was about ending up in the same place, equal outcomes. That is, I think, morally wrong and also not remotely practical, and yet that's part, it seems, of the worldview that Kamala Harris brings to the table.
It's been tried before, Guy. Last century, we saw hundreds of millions of people killed under the guise of equal outcomes. So if you're going to advocate for that, you have to look at the history of that advocacy and see that Marxism, socialism, progressivism, and communism always result in gulags, death, and really a kind of poverty that's unmatched. The kind of wealth and wealth attainment that we have here in this country, where our most poverty-stricken people who are housed actually live a lifestyle that is equivalent to some European nations, is one that you can use in this argument as you discuss why Kamala Harris, why would she advocate for socialism or even communism here in America? Why would she use Marxist language while she's running for the presidency? Why doesn't she use her vaunted, much vaunted at this point, history as vice president over this past 4 years? Well, the reason why she doesn't do that, guys, because they don't have a history of success. And so they're reverting to form. And that's this communistic language, which we should all reject.
And Gianno, when you think about some of the things that she's proposing, economically speaking, she's talking about things like universal basic income. She's talking about Medicare for all, even for people who are in this country illegally. She wants to give everything away to everybody. So as she says, we can end up in the same place. We are $35 trillion in debt already. If she does this, she will bankrupt us.
Well, the Bible says the poor will be with us always, so there's no way for us all to end up at the same place. It's not measurable in that sense, and I think it also gives great credence to what Barack Obama said when he withheld his endorsement of her. I'm pretty sure he's still doing that today because he doesn't believe that she can win the presidency, neither does Joe Biden. I agree with both of them that it would be a very difficult journey. I was just speaking with a Democrat black woman whose name is Trey, who was saying that she believed that it would be problematic for her with black women and black men. So with that consideration in mind, from what I'm hearing from my community, although there may be some excitement for those Biden voters who were locked in with Biden regardless, but they didn't want to vote for him because they didn't feel a sense of inspiration from him, they're willing to go to her side. But I can assure you that's not the majority of people, and that's not what I believe will be reflective in the polls that are coming up here this Friday at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this. A Biden family source telling the New York Post that the real reason, you just mentioned this, Gianno, that Barack Obama hasn't yet endorsed Harris is because he doesn't think she can beat Donald Trump. So that might be true, but let's also be real, Gianno. Like, the endorsement's coming. He's going to speak at the convention, right? He's going to give the blessing at some point. Is the delay because of the doubts, or what's going on here?
Well, I mean, I'm imagining that they really did want an open process. The Obamas, they wanted that for the Democratic Party. She is not the strongest candidate. She's still attached to the Biden legacy, and his policies. She was the border czar, no matter what the media wants to lie and say now as they try to scrub the record. She was responsible for what many Americans feel to be a devastating reality. Look at Chicago, black Democrats who've only voted for Democrats saying, I'm going to vote for Trump because of the border, or New York, or we can go anywhere else where it began to be a swing state, but now it's looking like it's favoring Republicans. Those are considerations I think Democrats should be having. Not only that, you got 104 days to introduce her to the American people as your nominee, and actually less than that because the convention is coming up in, I guess, in 2 weeks. So this is going to be a very interesting play that the Democrats have. I'm sure the media will be very supportive of them, but I don't think that it will work. But only time will tell.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that specifically, Gianno, Stacy, I want to come to you with this because Governor Hairgel himself, California's Gavin Newsom, is in awe of Kamala Harris and her quick start to her campaign. Listen.
I've been tripping, trying to figure out why I ain't seen my boy Batman running for president. That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to figure out why dog ain't running for president. In my lifetime, I don't think I never seen the president drop out like that.
Wait, I wasn't sitting down when I got the word. I was on my treadmill. That was the last thing I was expecting on a quiet Sunday.
Did President Biden call you?
I get all these text messages from the White House saying the president's trying to get in touch with you, but I didn't even see them. The script is flipped. Just like that.
How do this script play out now?
I pity Donald Trump right now. He was not prepared for this to happen.
Really, Stacy?
Yeah, actually, he was. Team Trump was totally prepared. Did you see the ads they rolled out on online social media right after the announcement? They knew it was a possibility that it would be Kamala. So let's talk about Gavin Newsom for a second, though. Didn't he just announce today that he's going to ban homeless encampments in California? Finally, after 20 some odd years and 20 some odd $billion of him dealing with homelessness in California, he is a failed governor of an enormous state that I think is number 3 in GDP worldwide. If it were a country, it would be number 3 or number 8. So what are we talking about here? A man who came into office as governor with a surplus, and he's not only blown it, they're way in the hole in California. They have population loss, and they have overall dissatisfaction, rolling blackouts. You can't charge your electric vehicle. All you got is the great weather there, but the homelessness, the poop maps. How could he talk about Team Trump not being prepared when he's running California? Yeah. I mean, he has a lot of gall, And
she's from the same state, and we've seen her track record. So, Stacy Washington, Gianno Caldwell, so great to see you both. Thank you.